No! Welcome back to Mordhau, ladies and gentlemen. This video will mostly be a rant about the imbalances that players are experiencing in the Feitoria map. Now don't get me wrong, it's a really great map and I'm having a lot of fun playing it, but there's a lot of issues with it and it would be an enormous lie to say that it's a balanced map. First point in case, spawning. Red team has to cover an enormous distance of ground before they enter the battle. Also, there's no real difference between the first two spawn points. Even if the enemies capture command point 4 out of 5, you still spawn in almost the same location. Very frustrating to have to run all that distance back to the battle again. This, paired with all the traps, defensive structures, advantages that the castle gives to blue players, makes it incredibly difficult to penetrate the fortress. Now they did remove the mortar for the time being, probably just to tweak it a bit, but there's still a lot of dangers that a player has to face while running even just towards the castle before entering. Besides the rocks and other traps that the game provides for blue players, you also have to avoid horses, and of course the deadly ballista. Now I've been playing this map for quite a while, and the truth is that even if you do make it to the top where the command point is, it's really difficult to stay there for an extended period of time, long enough to capture it. This is mostly due to the difficult accessibility for Red Team. I've almost never been able to stay alive here long enough for reinforcements to arrive. And this of course will only be made worse once the mortar is re-added to the game, which honestly I am anticipating, but it's still incredibly imbalanced. As far as I remember, every single frontlines match that I've had on this map was won by blue team. And I understand it's tempting to say, oh, you just need to get better at the game, get good, son. And honestly, you wouldn't even be wrong. However, I've been looking at the scoreboards during every match I've had on this map, and both teams always have an equal number of high-ranking players, and the numbers are very balanced every time. So it comes down to pure advantages that this map gives to blue team. So anyways, those were my complaints for the frontline mode. Now for invasion. Ironically enough, in the invasion version of this map, things are flipped. Red team had the upper hand and won this map every single time I played it. For some reason, these objectives are designed in a way that they favor Red team in all three phases of this game. I attribute several reasons for this being the case, one being the time given to complete these objectives. My suspicion is that the developers want to make these game modes last just as long as Frontlines, but I'm pretty sure that's a big mistake. The times given for Red Team to complete these objectives are so long that it's impossible to hold them off for long enough. Sooner or later, one of them is going to kill one of the key characters. Even when Blue Team is destroying Red Team, the proximity area to the siege tower is so wide that they're gonna end up pushing it anyways. That objective is completed every game that I see, and after that it gets even worse. I think the HP of the officers that need to be killed in order to proceed to the next objective needs to be buffed. Even when blue team has great players in their team, they seem to fall like flies. I have a video where one of them got hit with a catapult, that was pretty funny. Even if those three key players choose to be defensive and use tactics like putting up barricades and other means of survival, they always get wrecked within about 5 minutes of the beginning of the objective. I've seen players with kill-death ratios of 15, 20, even 25 in the roles of officers several times, and they get wrecked the same way. It's kind of surprising because in this same game mode and this same kind of objective on the grad map, this doesn't happen. It's a pretty balanced one, and I've seen both teams win about an equal number of times. The third objective is by far the worst offender on my list. This one is kind of unbalanced even on the grad map. The NPCs have no HP, are scattered too widely, and just are in terrible locations. The attacking team has a very easy task even when the defenders have extremely good players on their side. I think there's too many places they can enter this part of the city from, and the defender team also lacks any kind of defensive structure. And I also gotta say, and this goes for the previous objective as well, the temporary removal of the mortar does not help this problem at all. As you can see from the gameplay footage, I even had a game where my team put an incredibly concentrated effort on defending the last NPCs. We did everything we could to defend them. Some players even barricaded them in, as you can see. This unfortunately did not do anything to help. Red team kept swarming in large numbers, and it took no time for us to be completely overrun. To add insult to injury, it was a single well-thrown firebomb at the end that killed the NPC. Very ironic. I don't want to sound too pessimistic though. If you remember, the Crossroads map had even bigger issues than this one when it came out. Blue team won 9 games out of 10 on that one, but luckily the developers implemented a couple of changes on the map that made this much more balanced. So I'm quite confident that they're going to do something similar on this one too. Let me know in the comments what you think about this issue, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like this video.